Good morning to all you at home, possible gamers, tried and true, or those who are amateur or curious. My name is Demo the Wizard, and I'm going to present to you today how to play a role-playing game. Now, the setup is very simple. You have one person to be the game master, or dungeon master, the GM or DM, and he sets all the rules and the storyline and the tonality, and he sets the stage for the other players. The other players are representing characters apiece. Each one has a character or personality constructed of, mostly it seems like numbers, but it's actually it's the numerical quantification of emotional qualities. And they take these random environmental effects, when they quantify them and put them on a piece of paper to represent a total character. And then the game master tells the tale of the beginning, how the scenario begins, the environment, the rules. The players take turns, each one, claiming what he's going to do in his turn. Usually you can do things like a standard action, a free action, a quick action, a swift action, a move action, or take all those and combine into one single full round action, a big move, or several smaller moves. Either case scenario, this person is going to try to incorporate a bit of personality, a bit of style, a bit of flair, and also the mechanical part of rolling to see whether the environment would benefit him or would hinder him, or whether the environmental factors favor him or not. And it is upon the rolling that decides whether or not his decision is successful or not. And when his decision is made successful or not, the second player in the next iteration sees the results and gets to play upon the first. And then the third player gets to see what the second player did, and then he gets to play his turn. And then the third or fourth player gets to see the third person's turn, and they get to respond and react in their turn. And then it eventually goes into a round robin and goes back to the first player, and he sees what the last player did, and he's able to make a new joke, make a new move, make a new action, and then roll to see if his action was successful or not, and then pass it on. It's very simple theoretically. What helps the dungeon master decide whether the environmental factors favor him as players or not are things called geometric dice. They look like these. You have a 20-sided dice, you have a 12-sided dice, you have an 8-sided dice, 10-sided dice, a 4-sided dice, the more commonly known as 6-sided dice, and the very uncommon 3-sided dice. They're all polyhedral formats, and they all have an equal probability, or supposed equal probability, of any side rolling up. Now, if you look closely at the 12-sided dice, you have numbers on the side. Some numbers are higher than others. Basically, what you do is you roll one of these dice. It rolls around and it stops at a number. That number may be a higher number or a lower number. That number adds to the character's environmental scores, his personality's numerical quantified scores, and then it tells you whether the action was successful or not. Like, for instance, a character in his turn could tell a joke. He could sing. And you don't know how much a sing is valued as. However, what you do is you put it into a number format. The song is valued at, valued at number 1 or number 3. And it's a low score, but if you roll it and it gets to number 12 or 10, it's a higher score. What happens when the player tries to sing, or tries to swing an axe, or tries to cast a spell, or some other action, and if he gets a higher number, he's successful. He successfully swings without missing. If he gets a low number, he does swing, but he misses. Or his axe is caught on the wrong thing, or his song is poorly heard, or people laugh at his song in the wrong way, and they take it the wrong way. If he's trying to cast a spell, the spell fizzles. If he's trying to walk, he trips, or some other negative value, another negative deciding factor. If he's successful, of course, he walks scot-free. His spell goes as planned. His axe goes where it's directed. His song goes where he's intended to, and it's received well and in the most positive light. Now, in addition to the players, there are also the monsters. The monsters also have personality quantified attributes that are numerically stratified to designate how ugly they are, how strong they are, how sweet-talking they are, how fast they are, how smart they are. And of course, they also get rolled, but the dungeon master actually has to usually rolls for the NPCs, the non-player characters, or the monsters. Or he can designate a co-DM or a monster DM, a special aid to help him roll for the monsters. And the game is different depending on whether you play as the player or the DM, the GM. Because the player, you're just simply trying to succeed. You're trying to get your axe to swing the way you want it, and you try to tell your joke, to make the other players laugh, and you're trying to have fun. The idea is to have fun. The first rule is always to have fun. Every other rule was made up to support the cause of having fun. The Dungeon Master, you're in charge of the environment, the monsters, and the rules. But the most important thing, you are basically a sergeant in command of the team. You have to make sure they have fun as best you can. You are the presenter. You are the host. It's best advisable to have drinks and snacks to make sure the party feels the most happiest they can, because the object of the game is to have fun, and the leader of the fun is usually the Dungeon Master. He's in control of how much fun the players can have. So it's up to him. It's actually his goal in his game is to create an environment which is the most fun, which the monsters have the coolest, weirdest nicknames, or they have the most funniest attributes, a horn coming out of an ear, a purple eyeball, or a weird looking scale that just is out of place, or some other humorous attribute. Maybe their names are funny, named after famous parodies of comedians, or parodies of movies that are lame, or some other comedic name, or they have weapons that are silly or flappable, or maybe they want to go for an intelligent character, but still it's the funny intelligence. But in all aspects, the Game Master does try to make the fight fun. Now, there's also the aspect of the Game Master does have to represent the monsters in the most fairest of ways. He is in charge of fairness at the same time as fun. And for the players, they want to succeed, but the Dungeon Master has to create an accurate challenge to make it seem like that when they succeed, that it means something. It has to be meaningful. So, on that note, the Game Master does have to present a monster that is both funny and challenging. It has to be legitimately challenging, legitimately intelligent, legitimately cunning, legitimately hard and difficult to make the win successful. To make the win count for something. And it's also wise that the Dungeon Master creates fear and leaves out some details about the monsters instead of telling everything about the monster, to leave the mist, leave the guesswork. So the players are coming into an unknown area and have to use their character's skills, their character's information, their character's perception to detect this monster. And so for players, yes, they have to delve into this challenge of finding out what's going on, where are these monsters coming from, how to deal with them. And so they try to use the swing of the axe, the casting of the spells, and the song to negotiate their way around this world. But the Dungeon Master has to present the monsters in a way that makes the players have to use these skills. That's what makes it challenging. The monsters are unknown, they're fathoms. But the players are trying to discover these monsters, so they have the feeling of discovery of these monsters. Then they realize these monsters are fun but challenging, and they have to defeat them, leading to a personal gratification of achievement, a meaningful one. If all these steps have occurred, it goes to the fear of the monster, the fun in fighting the monster, and then the personal gratification in defeating the monster. The Game Master has to set all of that up. And the players just simply play as best they can with the characters they have. And once you understand that, then you just simply say, hey, I'm going to roll up a character. I'm going to try to get my character to do this. I'm going to roll. Character successful or character unsuccessful. Player 2's turn or the monster's turn. The monsters get a turn too. So the monsters go, then the players go, then the monsters go, then the players go. And that's how you play Dungeons and Dragons. That's how you play Pathfinder. That's how you play Frozen North or all Rifts. There's tons and tons of role-playing games, Japanese style, American style, Korean style. There's hundreds of games, but they all have that same format. So if you want to know how to play, that's how you play.